things hyperbarics and what you do. Um, but yeah, first, thanks for joining me on this episode, Kate. Awesome. Yeah, we kind of had some back and forth prior to this, so I'm really looking forward to getting to the content here. But for listeners, why don't you just let them know a little bit about yourself, what you do? You have your brand InLight Hyperbarics. Um, yeah, just kind of let the listeners know what you're about.
Yeah. So at this point in time, I live and breathe InLight Hyperbarics. We are a 4,500 square foot wellness space, and we've been evolving for the last 13 years. And
Mhm.
so I guess I can start with kind of how I got there and what transpired my journey. And it was really my own health struggles that I had
Mhm.
that began when I was 16. So I had mono twice. It led to having a compromised immune system. It led me to really losing my faith in kind of conventional medicine and
Mhm.
the mainstream medical world. I grew a huge passion for holistic healing very early on in my early 20s because those are the types of habits that really got me unstuck. Just really leaning into good nutrition, eliminating foods that were not serving me, and just diving into all sorts of holistic aspects for healing. But what truly really set me on fire, kind of lit me up, was when I discovered infrared light therapy. And light therapy was the one thing that truly got me unstuck. I was constantly getting sick all the time. And one session that was introduced by my business partner today,
Mhm.
she introduced it to me back in around 2004. And one session, I noticed a huge difference. And it really helped to eliminate like constant sore throats, constant feelings of fatigue, exhaustion, not sleeping well, moodiness, all the things. And so my passion just grew. And
Mhm.
from there, many years of just learning about it, learning the science and realizing like how powerful it is as a primal nutrient turned us into growing InLight Hyperbarics. And it was in 2013 that Miss Edna, my business partner, and I decided to team up and become business partners. It was just
Mhm.
kind of like where the company, the light therapy company, was at the time. She had already been utilizing lights within her practice and selling systems to individual home users. And so that's where I really learned about them because I would help her at trade shows and things like that. And when we went into business together, we primarily were just going to promote light therapy, educate, create awareness, sell systems. And it was a year into that we discovered hyperbaric oxygen therapy. And then from there, we just kept growing. We just kept adding to our space. And we went from 1,500 square feet 3 years later, grew to 4,500 square feet because we just kept adding amazing technology and tools.
Mhm.
And now we get to help a lot of people, really just encouraging their body's natural healing ability.
Yeah, and you're based, so you have a brick and mortar, and you're based out of Vancouver, right? Vancouver, Washington?
Yeah,
Okay,
we are.
awesome. Nice.
Right
Right
off the
on.
freeway, downtown Vancouver.
Okay.
Yeah.
So within that one, like you said you had one light therapy session and you noticed a significant difference. Like what were the differences and how were you able to pinpoint that it was the light that made the change for you?
Well, the story goes, so what during that time, I was dealing with constant sore throats.
Mhm.
My lymph glands would swell up, like your tonsil area, just
Mhm.
constantly inflamed. And it's Edna introduced me to blue light. So I used blue light at the time. Right
Mhm.
now, the three light waves that we primarily use are near infrared, red, and blue. But this was blue. And we put it on my throat. So a 1 20-minute session, my lymph nodes swelled up drastically. And so
Mm.
initially I thought, what's going on here? Like, this isn't helping. This is making it worse. But in hindsight, it was a healing reaction. So my body responded to the light photons and it helped to support my natural detox pathways. And I was able to eliminate what was causing the inflammation. After that session, my throat issues completely stopped.
Mm.
So that was really powerful to see that, like, things can transition, like, transform very quickly. It doesn't
Yeah.
always happen overnight for everybody, but
Mhm.
that was my big aha moment.
I see. Did you have your tonsils taken out at all or no? So you never had those taken out.
Well,
Did you always have sort of kind of like throat issues? You said that that was something that was you're always running into growing up.
After the mono. So after I had
Okay.
mono, I had it at 16, I relapsed at 18,
Uh,
which just goes to show I didn't fully heal from it. And for those that don't fully understand, mono is actually created by the Epstein-Barr virus. And so when we get the virus within our system, which um, on average, 80 to 90% of us Americans struggle with the viral infection. It can just show up very differently. So
mm.
not everybody will come down with mono. They may have the virus, and it may lead to other autoimmune type conditions. Um, but yeah, it was after the mono that I was just constantly getting sick all the time.
Oh, did you have issues with snoring at all or sleeping?
Sleeping, yeah, just because it just kind of created insomnia. I mean, it's
Yeah.
painful when you have
Mhm.
mono and your throat swells up. It's extremely painful.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean,
Okay. Yeah,
very
I'm just kind of going down my clinical rabbit hole here. Like, okay, going down all the things like, were you a mouth breather? Did you wake up with dry mouths? Like that, those sorts of things are kind of the questions that I was thinking about.
yeah, not to my
Um,
memory. Mm-mm.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Interesting. So how did the wellness center really get sparked into growth? And, were you working with a group of people? Were there clienteles that you were already serving that Edna was serving? Or did it kind of, how did this sort of grow organically into what it become?
Well, when we went into business together, when we became partners, Edna had already established kind of a following. So she worked for a naturopathic physician here in Vancouver,
Mhm,
Washington, which is what introduced me to holistic remedies and nutrition, if you will.
mm,
And so she also decided, because she saw the power in infrared light and what it was doing to the body, how it not only was healing internal things, but also external, like skin conditions. She decided to go down the road of becoming an esthetician, and
mhm,
which gave her the license to also work with people one on one, touch the body, things like that. And so she had her own salon and she had clientele. So when we teamed up, she transitioned from having that into creating what was called InLight for Life before we added oxygen.
mhm,
And we had a bit of a following from there. And then also it just became word of mouth because
mm.
people were experiencing change. They were seeing how powerful it was. And we established our brick and mortar in 2014. And we only started with one soft shell chamber
Mhm,
and light therapy pads. That's it. And we had an infrared sauna eventually. Um, and then we would host education events, which also got people in the
mm,
gym as well. So we did
okay,
a lot of events like that.
okay. And at your facility, you use blue light as well?
What's that?
Do you use blue light at your facility as well, at
We do.
InLight? Right here?
Mhm.
This is something that not a lot of people, I haven't really heard anything about blue light therapy. I guess, what's the big takeaway in comparison red light to blue light? And then why is this something that not a lot of people are talking about?
Yeah, it's a great question. When you look at like therapeutic light, basically we're utilizing the healthy light versions created by the sun that we know through research studies. And primarily it's infrared red and blue. And then people ask, well, what's the difference between all three light waves?
Mhm,
Well, infrared specifically, penetrates the deepest. It's the most activating. It's the most therapeutic in that sense. And you can utilize near infrared as well as far infrared. Far infrared is what you're going to find in more of a sauna type of
mhm,
application. Near infrared is in the lights and it's available to the body to create cellular energy. So we're activating ATP production in the mitochondria. Red falls within the visible spectrum just the same as blue does. They're on opposite ends. Like if you look at
mhm,
a rainbow, you have red, you have blue. Red is very similar to infrared in that it's very activating, penetrates deeper, not as deep, but penetrates deeper into the tissue. Blue is a lot more calming to the body. So red is creating more energy. Blue kind of has a softer approach, doesn't penetrate as deep. It's more topical, so it's
mhm,
more available to the body for skin. It's very antibacterial. It
mhm,
actually it's been shown to kill MRSA,
mm,
and which is a bacteria that doesn't respond to antibiotics.
mhm,
And then also great for detox. And so I think that's why it worked so well for me is that we didn't have to go through much tissue, but it helped promote lymphatic drainage and detox within my system.
Mhm.
Which light wave do we lean towards the most is red and infrared, if you were to pick
Mhm.
one or the other. But I'm a huge believer in rotating between the two.
Mm. So it sounds like there's more immune system benefits with blue light compared to red, where it's more soft tissue, ligamentous, tendon, chronic conditions, pain type of issues, these sorts of things for red light.
Yeah, all of that's
Okay.
absolutely true and accurate, but they do overlap each other too. So I would
Mm,
still lean into red for increasing immunity production as well.
I see. Okay. What type of people are typically walking through your doors that you're servicing?
Oh gosh, ones that lose hope,
Hmm.
humans that are feeling stuck on their healing journey for sure.
Mm,
Primarily the conditions that we've witnessed over the last 13 years. We deal with a lot of people going through cancer.
hmm.
So we have a lot of cancer support within our facility. Traumatic brain injuries is a big one. So people
Hmm.
dealing with post concussive syndrome, whether it's fairly recent or it's happened years ago. And
Hmm.
um, what else? Autoimmune conditions. We do see a
Hmm.
lot of people pre and post surgery. So just helping to create a more successful surgery outcome and quicker healing,
Hmm. Hmm.
and all walks of pain and
Hmm.
inflammation.
Okay.
Lots of injuries too.
So I see. And you're combining whether it be light therapy or hyperbaric therapy with these individuals, depending on their situation. Is that kind of
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
that looks like?
I
Okay.
would say our main focus is hyperbaric oxygen at this point. It's kind of like our
Okay.
main staple, but we're
Mhm.
such huge advocates and believers for light therapy that we always really work to try and pair the both together.
Okay.
You're going to get a lot healthier of an outcome.
Okay. Are people typically coming through knowing what they want? They're like a la carting it, or do you have an evaluation process that you're taking someone through to figure out what's the best option for them?
Yeah, we always do a consult pre-treatment.
Okay. Yeah.
We tend to call it like the let's talk about you. So
Yeah.
coming inside, getting a tour is usually really helpful for people because there is so much that we offer. But yeah, a consult just to really get started and dive into like what are your health struggles? What are your goals? What do we
Mhm.
feel like would be the best fit for you?
I see. Okay. So we talked a little bit about hyperbar or red light therapy rather. Okay, light therapy. There we go. Let's dive into the hyperbaric thing. So we've talked a little bit about it. We know it's an offering, but for those that are curious, what exactly does hyperbaric therapy look like? Could you explain it a little bit more?
Yeah, like what is
Mhm.
hyperbaric oxygen? Basically, it is a way that we can breathe pressurized air. So it's utilizing ambient air under pressure inside of a chamber.
Okay.
And when one undergoes hyperbaric oxygen therapy, basically you are breathing in ambient air that's equivalent to being below sea level.
Okay.
Okay. And so when you initiate that atmospheric pressure, what you're doing is you're kickstarting a gas law. It's a law that we learned back in school many years ago. Oh, I like that you're pulling that up.
And these are for those watching, these are what they look like, right? What's the one closest to something that you would have? Is it like a
We utilize Oxy Health chambers.
Oxy Health?
Yeah,
Okay.
that is our
Chamber.
brand of chambers that we
Okay.
yeah. So we've got two soft shell chambers, which are the blue ones that you see.
Okay.
And then we also have three hard shell, which is that white chamber looking contraption that
Gotcha.
you see
Looks like
as
a
well.
dive tank.
Yeah.
Okay.
We call it a dive. So when you come to
Yeah.
you're going in for a dive.
Cool. Okay, so keep going. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah. So when you're in this chamber, you're increasing the atmospheric pressure. Literally,
Uh-huh.
the only area that you're feeling it in your body are your ears. So
Mhm.
you naturally need to be able to equalize your ears. Very similar to flying on a plane, no different.
Yeah.
And we walk people through that. We're very good at getting people under pressure. Our techs are well trained. We want to make sure
Mhm.
you're comfortable. So what happens is you're kickstarting a known gas law, which is Henry's law specifically.
Mhm.
And Henry's law states that any type of gas under pressure dissolves into fluid. Okay.
Mm.
So when we're breathing air, typically right now, it's 21% oxygen. That oxygen flows in, attaches to our red blood cells. And that's how we stay alive. That's how we're getting oxygen into our tissue.
Mhm.
Every single cellular activity requires oxygen to create energy. So when you're in a hyperbaric chamber and you're able to dissolve all this oxygen into fluid, you're hyperoxygenating your blood plasma, your lymphatic system, all the cerebral fluids flowing up into your brain, and every
Mm,
single other fluid within your body. And that's a beautiful thing because now we can get oxygen to areas that may be hypoxic in the body, whether it be due to any kind of disease, injury, inflammation. When our body is under stress, our blood vessels become compromised, they're
mm,
constricted. And so red blood cells become unable to flow to certain areas of the body. Well, now hyperbaric oxygen has changed that environment. So we have more cellular energy and a healthier environment where our body can now do what it was designed to do. Our body is a miraculous thing, and we were designed to heal from the inside out, given
mm.
the right type of nutrients and opportunity, miracles can happen. So
Yeah,
that's basically it. It's super simple.
I see. How many sessions would it take for someone to notice a difference? Or is this something that people, it's like you're not really going to notice a difference, but you're going to have long-term benefits? Or is it kind of a mix?
I mean, nobody's journey is the same, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's different. It's not a black and white answer. What I will say is a typical protocol. So, what a physician will typically prescribe to get clinical change is 40 sessions as close together as possible. And
Hmm.
you're going to see different research studies that primarily utilize 20 sessions in a row or 40, sometimes more than that.
Hmm.
Can you feel change prior to that? Absolutely.
Hmm.
I mean, I've seen a lot of clients walk in our door and I can tell they're so hypoxic, they're under so much stress, they're in so much
Hmm.
pain. One session, they're going to feel the world of a difference because they were that deprived of oxygen. Does
Mm.
that give them the clinical change? No, not necessarily. You
Hmm.
can't grow a new body overnight, just like we can't grow a beautiful garden overnight. It takes time and it takes the right dose of everything. So with hyperbarics, we go back to looking at it as like a supplement. You're getting a
Hmm.
supplement, a dose of oxygen. And if you were to do treatment, say you did the 40-hour protocol and you really committed to it,
Is
we
it
always,
over what course of time? The
yeah.
40 sessions, what course of time is that?
So it's daily is what,
Okay.
yeah.
So
And
40
so,
sessions a day. So that's essentially, like little over 5 weeks. Okay.
yep, yep, 5 to 6 weeks. And it's really 5 days on, 2 days off is the
Okay.
ultimate goal because you want
Okay.
to give your body a little bit of a break to kind of catch up.
Yeah.
Um, And we have clients that choose to do daily doubles,
Hmm.
and that is encouraged as well. If you've got the time and the
Yeah.
freedom to be able to do that, a morning and afternoon, you're keeping your energy levels heightened, which is going to continue the body's healing.
Gotcha. Have you had any side effects from this sort of treatment for maybe someone who comes in twice and they're like, whoa, I got too much or anything like that?
It's rare, but the
Yeah.
only real side effect is, if someone's feeling unwell, it's because their
Yeah.
body's going into detox mode.
Yeah.
Or they're
Okay.
extra fatigued because it's working overtime to heal the damage that's been done.
Yeah.
And I'd say the biggest one where we really have to play it safe is if someone's experiencing they have Lyme disease.
Hmm.
So it can initiate a Herx reaction, which is detox, and we want to go slow with that.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So the operation of a hyperbaric chamber, it's not like a set it and forget it. You actually have trained technicians in there operating the chambers. Like what type of training goes into the operation of this sort of, unit of modality?
Yeah, well, our clinic is overseen by a medical director.
Uh-huh.
And Dr. Zaid Ratanzi, he's been in the industry of hyperbarics since the 90s. He started out with his very own clinic up in Canada, and now he really works to oversee the industry. And he's part of the board of directors with the
Hmm.
International Hyperbaric Association. So basically, we have online training as well as hands-on training, and it's pretty straightforward. We go through safety regulations and
Hmm.
um, yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
So very regulated in that sort of sense. It's not like anyone can just buy a chamber and say, hey, come on down to my house and get a little session in my tank.
People are doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, we do. We sell chambers, we in-home chambers,
Yeah.
set them up in their
Okay.
homes, and they treat friends and family. That's on
Yeah.
them. But the safety of it all is it's pretty straightforward, and
Yeah.
it's very little to no risk, quite
Okay.
honestly. But
Yeah.
obviously we're in a professional setting. We want to be well trained and know what we're doing.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, but
I
we're
see.
working with milder pressures too, right? We're not working with hospital grade type chambers at 100%
Yeah.
oxygen, which makes a huge difference in how we're treating
Gotcha.
people. There is literally next to no risk of oxygen toxicity
Yeah. Yeah.
or
Okay, I
any
see.
kind of combustion, if you will.
Yeah. Have you, like, put a red light unit in the chamber at all? I
We
considered
used
that, like, double dose, double
to.
dip?
That's how we started.
Oh,
That
really? Oh, so you're putting,
yeah.
like, a mat in there?
Well, yep. So to give you a little bit of backstory on my business partner,
Yeah.
she dealt with over 30 years of chronic migraines. That was her biggest struggle in life, and nothing could touch them. We went into business doing light therapy together. She then decided to take on a 220-volt shock from an ungrounded power supply,
Mm.
and it literally shot across her whole entire system, creating nerve damage within her arm, as
Mhm.
well as it changed the course of her migraines. They were worse, they were coming on more often. That same year, we were at a hyperbaric, no, sorry, it was a light therapy conference in Cancun, Mexico. And they rolled out the very first, Dr. Zaid, who's our medical director today, rolled out the very first mild chamber with light therapy inside. So
Mm.
it was a light oxygen chamber, which we were like, heck yeah, that's totally on brand for us.
Yeah.
Not only did it excite us, but she also needed her healing. And it made sense to her that getting oxygen to the brain in a way that she can't do without hyperbarics could potentially be her answer, as well
Mm.
as let's target the nerve damage that was pretty much debilitating her at the time. So we ended up buying the demo chamber on site in Cancun, Mexico, packed it up, traveled home with it. It was quite the journey.
Yeah.
But that's how it all started. So we set up that chamber in her home. She did the 40-hour protocol. Migraines were completely gone.
Wow.
And they were gone by around the 20th dive for her. Pretty transformative. And that's when we knew like we need to share this with the community. We need to get the word out there. The brick and mortar was
Yeah.
born and she got her healing head to toe. She was a whole new human. So we were able to offer light therapy within the chamber. We only discontinued it a couple years ago. And that's
Oh.
because the safety regulations are cracking down and we just
Mm.
want to be in compliant with everything.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
What did
it's a
the
great
outreach
concept.
what did the outreach look like initially? So you're saying that you found this awesome modality that your business partner was getting healing. You wanted to let the community know. So I guess what did that look like in terms of outreach? Were you going into the spot saying, "Hey, you guys got to check this thing out, man. Come on over. Let me show you something real quick." Or like what type of outreach were you doing? Yeah.
Well, like I said before, she did have
Mhm.
a following with her aesthetics and working
Yeah.
with a naturopathic doctor. She had a lot of people that trusted her and
Mhm.
followed her in her journey. And
Mm.
then from there, I mean, it was really just social media. I was all over
Mhm.
social media, Instagram, really active. People started Googling different alternatives.
Yeah.
We hosted a lot of events. And then, yeah, we
Okay.
would go into other practitioner offices and just network, just
Yeah.
put yourself.
Bootstrap it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What you mentioned earlier about clients with concussions coming in seeking treatment. I'm really interested in that in my field. I've dealt with a lot of athletes. Concussions are something that I see almost daily working on the field.
Mhm.
Um, what have you seen in terms of therapeutic healing from light therapy, chamber therapy on the effects of concussion-like symptoms?
Miraculous things.
Hmm.
So many. So, I mean, we get clients that walk in our doors that maybe they got a concussion just the previous day and they knew
Right.
exactly what they needed, right? Or it's 3 years down the road, or maybe they were
Mhm.
misdiagnosed and it was never even, like, looked at the time, and
Right.
symptoms came on over time. So, I mean, honestly, starting with infrared light therapy, what are we doing? We're increasing circulation, we're increasing ATP production, which is cellular energy. So, we're able to help the body through that primal nutrient of light to create its own healing mechanisms. And so, we're stimulating that neuroplasticity. We're stimulating stem cell production as well. And if you don't know what stem cells are, it's basically like the body's way of creating universal cells to
Mhm.
go to places that the body is struggling the most, right? So it's trying to constantly heal all the time. And we're just initiating that to be at a higher dose.
Mhm.
And it's the same concept with oxygen, hyperbarics. We're able to get oxygen into the fluids so it can potentially get to those injured tissues in the brain. Because when we
Mhm.
have a concussion, it creates neuroinflammation,
Mhm.
right? More inflammation, less circulation. And so it hinders our healing in that sense. So, what we're seeing with light and oxygen is symptoms start to disappear,
Mhm.
is able to work better, so better cognitive function. Our clients are seeing better and deeper sleep. So it's really helping with insomnia issues, anxiety, depression, and just that overall brain fog that someone might
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah. Do you
Um,
have a specific protocol that you follow, or is it more, after the evaluation, you kind of figure out a plan of care?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we customize everything for everyone. There are
Mhm.
some people in a concussed state that light therapy, even the therapeutic kind, might be too much for them.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can help people get unstuck right away. They feel amazing. Other times, it's not the answer. Primarily, it's hyperbarics. And
Mhm.
from there, I always really talk to people about the amount of pressure. So that's another thing with HBOT is another way of calling hyperbaric for
Mhm.
short. There's different pressures that we can utilize. So
Mhm.
in the soft shell chamber, it's considered mild hyperbaric, and that is the measurement is 1.3 ATA. That equals about 10 feet below sea level.
Mhm.
So, however, it's very mild. It's extremely beneficial and therapeutic. And when one is dealing with a brain injury, I tend to keep them at mild pressures.
Mhm.
And a lot of physicians will say the same because the brain is the most complex organ. It's the slowest healing organ, it's the most sensitive. We want to really ease into it without overstressing it.
Mhm.
So, in the hard shell chambers that we have, it's a beautiful thing. It allows us to dose deeper pressures for various conditions. Is it a black and white thing? Do we know what everyone needs in any given time? Not always, but we can kind of have
Mhm.
an idea. It's just that with brain injuries, I always say start with the lesser pressure, and then we can work your
Yeah.
way up as you heal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but the sessions are 1 hour in duration. Is that typical protocol?
Yep, you're under pressure for an hour,
Okay.
and in the chamber, I always say, like, gauge your appointment to be about an hour and a half total.
Yeah. Okay.
It takes a little bit of time to get under pressure and then a little bit of time to come back as well.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. And are you looking, is the goal to progress in pressure, or is it just gonna be based off of?
Not always, right?
Okay.
So, I mean, with most individuals, they like to work themselves up. Like maybe they'll do a series in soft shell and then they'll
Yeah.
stair step it up to hard shell. Some
Mhm.
clients like to mix the two, and some
Yeah.
clients just stay at one single pressure. It also depends on what's your financial availability,
Mhm.
time, what are your
Yeah.
goals, you know?
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. And there
Awesome.
are what's really cool and exciting is there's a lot of research studies coming out that even in the mild chambers, that's the best pressure to be at if you're just in for like longevity, prevention,
Mhm.
aging. You don't
Yeah.
need a whole heck of a lot.
Yeah, so you can get away with a soft shell at home, and if you're just doing that
Mhm.
religiously, like, that's a pretty good benefit.
That's all you need.
Yeah,
And at the end of the day, it's consistency over everything.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So you got some pretty cool tools at your facility. 4,500 square feet, that's a pretty big spot. Are there any other gadgets that you have found, you've added on over time that have been beneficial, or anything specific, that we could talk about as well?
Yeah. Quite a few other modalities, actually.
Mhm.
Excuse me. We went from light therapy, hyperbarics, we added soft wave technology. So
Mhm.
that's also known as TRT, tissue regenerative therapy. And basically, it's utilizing, it's an energy through a probe, and
Yeah.
it goes through like a water, and basically it's helping to break up fascia, helping people get unstuck from pain and changing the body's ability to heal. So it's stimulating
Mhm.
stem cell production as well. And so that device is primarily utilized for like joint pain, back issues. I mean, we can work on a fresh fracture even, so great for
Mhm.
healing as well.
Are
So,
these like radio pulse shockwave therapy devices, or is this a different type of device?
well, I'm not the best at explaining it. My business partner is the expert, but it's like using
Yeah,
ultrasonic energy type.
I
Um,
see. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm familiar with the radio pulse shockwave devices, so it's kind of like a handheld device, and it's got this
yeah,
little rod that goes through. It's like dot 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 dot
it's
dot,
it's
and it
energy
kind of
through,
drills in the tissue.
yeah, and
What's that?
it's like energy through a spark plug,
Yeah.
and yep.
Okay. Okay. So very similar to that. Yeah. I mean, I've had significant benefits in using this modality.
Mhm.
Just a little while ago, I was working up in Portland with the military, and we had all the amenities. And one of the amenities we had were the shockwave devices. And I've had
Yeah,
significant therapeutic outcomes on like tendinopathies, tendinitises, ligamentous strains, sprains, these sorts of things, or ligamentous sprains.
yeah,
Pardon me, these sorts of kind of connective tissue disorders where you see really significant increase in recoverability.
yeah,
That paired with the movement stuff really, really added a whole nother layer of outcomes. So yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool.
yeah, and what we love
Uh,
about it is it can get someone unstuck within that day,
yeah.
you can get really instant results.
hmm hmm So
Yeah.
okay, so you have the shockwave or soft wave device that you mentioned. I know you mentioned something else as well. It wasn't was it like a was it the Exomind? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, so that's our
Okay.
most recent addition,
Mhm,
and the Exomine came from a company, they're called BTL. They're
mhm,
based out of the Czech Republic, and so, basically, what inspired us to go down the road of researching this new technology was one thing that's definitely missing in the scope of our space is helping people strengthen their body as well. So we do utilize whole body vibration, which is amazing for therapeutic fitness. But
mhm,
when somebody is feeling like they've been sick for so long and they're losing muscle mass or they've been in pain, so they're not able to work out and
right,
strengthen their body, for us, it's like we looked at, like muscles medicine, and without it, we're not going to get to where we want to be. And, like we
mhm,
can do all the hyperbaric oxygen we want, but we also need to utilize our muscle.
right,
So, they have a device called mSculpt Neo, and that just kind of, like, sparked a fire in us to go down that road and figure out if that's a good fit for us. We ended up at the conference. From there, we added the whole entire suite to our
mm,
space because we felt you can't have one without the other. So the mSculpt Neo specifically basically targets the muscles in the body. We're utilizing high fem magnetic stimulation and radio frequency
mhm,
to activate and sculpt our muscles as well as burn unnecessary fat. So it's working in conjunction with each other.
mhm,
And there is an aesthetic appeal for a lot of people, but for us, it was for functional medicine. So helping people to be able to be more mobile and
mhm,
strengthen their system. So M Sculpt's for the body, and then a year ago they launched what you brought up, which is ExoMind, and that
okay.
was brain specifically.
I see, okay. So,
So yeah,
this is another type of device. Is this the same device that you have, or you said you
we have
have
it.
the M.
We have all four from the company.
Gotcha, okay, okay. So with the what is the ExoMind specifically?
Yeah. So I just wanted to share the M Sculpt so you kind of had an idea
Yeah.
why we even went down that road. And then we've got two
Sculpt.
other
That's a
of their
different thing, okay.
technologies. The ExoMind, when that was launched last year, I remember thinking this would be the only device, the first and foremost one that I would want to have in our space.
Uh-huh,
And primarily because we see so many types of concussions and mental health, brain dysfunction, dysregulation. And so
right,
what ExoMind primarily focuses on is it uses TMS, which is a technology that's been around for 4 decades or so,
uh-huh,
and it's magnetic stimulation. And basically, we are working on the front left part of the brain, which is considered our CEO, and we're helping to stimulate neuroplasticity again, creating better neural connections, firing on our neurons,
mhm,
and creating better communication within our
I
brain.
see.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So
Yeah.
it's using a specific frequency to basically target more activation throughout the brain. Is that the idea here?
Yep. Just
I
through,
see.
yeah, very gentle magnetic stimulation.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
So it sounds like you have a real diverse population that you service anywhere. I mean, it could be anywhere from a young athlete who's dealing with concussion like symptoms, someone who's older dealing with chronic degenerative conditions, someone in between, someone like yourself who was kind of always dealing with immune system issues and really just kind of lost faith in the Western medicine model and is looking for more of a holistic route. So
Yeah.
all in all, it seems like you're kind of making you have a big footprint to cover. And when almost like every provider doesn't really know what to do, it seems like you're a nice referral resource kind of in their back pocket to say, hey, maybe this is someplace you want to go check out or consider checking out. Try go knock out 20 sessions of hyperbarics
Yeah.
and come back and let's see if we made any progress in terms of what an MD might say in terms of what that referral might look like.
Yeah, for sure.
Has that kind of been the experience, like the connections that you've built up to this point? Is it very collaborative in that sort of way you found?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, we do. We get a lot of referrals from chiropractors,
Mhm.
naturopathic physicians, all over the board,
Yeah.
physical therapists, people that are in PT and they're just
Yeah.
not able to progress like they want.
Mhm.
And when you can really focus on getting that inflammation down and
Mhm.
helping the body to heal internally, then their mobility and strength training looks a whole heck of a lot different.
I see. Okay. So it's not one or the other. It's like, hey, let's supplement or let's add this in as well and see if this can help us get past this plateau. It's
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
holistic. It's holistic. You need a little bit of
Mhm.
everything is how I always look at it.
Yeah.
So they're
No,
very
definitely.
complementary. Mhm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess how would you categorize what you do or like your facility? What would you say like if someone's like, hey, so what is InLight Hyperbarics? Of course, the name says it in itself, but do you look at yourself as more than just a hyperbaric center? Is it more of like a longevity, durability, or I guess how would you explain it?
We have struggled with this concept the entire journey. So
Yeah.
what do we call
Yeah.
ourselves? Are we a
Right.
clinic? I
A
mean,
wellness center or.
space, I don't even like the term center, but wellness
Right.
space, I mean, but that doesn't that's so broad, right?
Right.
Go in
Yeah.
any direction. So, yeah, it's a struggle. We definitely love leaning towards that term longevity because that's
Mhm.
just such a I think we're all kind of looking into how can we not only like live a long time, but thrive in those years as well.
Yeah.
We want to have a good quality of life. Yeah, wellness space, wellness center. I mean, we're just
Yeah.
we're just in light at the
I
end of
think
the day.
I think you're ahead of the curve as well in all this stuff because now this is something that people are becoming more aware of. Of course, it's like the simple things like, the nutritional aspect, the health and wellness space, the breath work, the meditation, the mindfulness. And it's like, hey, are there any other like alternative like treatments or modalities or things that I could be doing outside of the things that are within my control?
Yeah,
And then they find your facility and they say, oh, this is exactly what I'm looking for. So I mean, I think this is
yeah,
definitely kind of the direction we're looking to move into, away from pharmaceuticals and medicines and more towards a holistic path of healing that is evidence-based and isn't woo woo, isn't too woo woo at least. I think really woo woo is just a misunderstood term for something that we've always been doing but haven't been able to quantify through research. But all the modalities and technologies that you're utilizing are definitely backed by evidence, and we have the research to prove it now. So that's the awesome thing about what you're doing. Is you're not just
yeah.
blowing snake oil up someone's trousers. So
No, and people less and less skeptics these days too, which has been fun.
yeah.
Even
Was
though
that
some
something you had? Was
it.
that something you had to deal with earlier on? Like, oh, I don't know about what is this stuff that you're doing? I don't trust it. No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
started with
okay.
my dad.
Really?
He was my biggest skeptic, and he became my biggest cheerleader, hands down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, all over the board. Um,
Yeah,
and they were my favorite because it's like all I could do is educate, and then if
for
they
sure.
wanted to give it a go, like, I'd always say, Prove me wrong or let me prove you wrong," like,
Yeah,
you're not
yeah.
gonna know unless you experience it. But again, like, with everything you just covered, like, go back to like our body. Your body is your, you are your own healer. You know,
Mhm.
we were designed to heal. Medicine is within, and you can only get so far if your attitude is not there, you know? So
Yeah, yeah,
healing
yeah.
always starts with the mind.
Mhm,
It is led by the heart because you have to really believe in it,
mhm.
trust it, and then it's accomplished by the body with the right tools, the right environment, and we're just utilizing, advanced technology to get you there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, that's spot on. It's like
With
a
the
alignment of the mind, body, and spirit to be able to take action.
right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Right on. Well, I think we learned a whole lot in this episode. I really appreciate your time, Kate, for having this conversation and enlightening our listeners and myself on all the things. All the things.
So many things. All the things. That's like my famous last words.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
thanks for having
But
me on, and
before we
yeah,
what's that?
I just said thanks for having me on. It's been awesome.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, this is great. Before we go, would you be able to let listeners know where they're able to find you? And I'm also going to post this in the show notes. So for anyone that wants to find Kate, get more info, get in touch. I'll have this info as well. But yeah, let the listeners know.
Yeah, the main spots, obviously, we have an amazing website,
Mhm,
InLightHyperbarics.com, and our physical location, Vancouver, Washington, 1601
mhm,
Broadway, easy to find. And Instagram is where we're most active, and
mhm,
the InLight Instagram, InLight_Hyperbarics. And then my own personal page is where I do share a lot of InLight content, and it's also
mhm,
where I'm going to be growing more of an online presence and support for brain health and wellness.
mhm.
That'll be like kind of my in alignment with InLight, but outside of that, and that's
Yeah.
crazy.kate. So crazy.cait. That's my Instagram handle.
Perfect. Crazy Kate with InLight Hyperbarics. Thanks. Right on.
Looking,
Well, thanks again. This was an awesome episode. I learned a lot. I'm sure our listeners learned a lot, and y'all know where to get in touch with Kate. If you're ever in Vancouver, definitely drop a line, check her out.
thank you, Sheldon.
Awesome. Definitely. Well, thank you all for listeners for checking out this episode, and I'll see you all on the next one.